Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to continue with the series for individual readings for the Boyz members. I'm going to do Kevin's and Jacob's today. Um, because I know they have a lot of similarities, especially from where they're from. They both speak English, and um, they are considered like the foreigners of the group, besides Eric also. But what I found really interesting when it came to their energies, actually, without knowing anything about them, I was 100% sure that Jacob was a Pisces, and actually he wasn't a Pisces, he was a Gemini, but he had that kind of mutable energy around him. And then when I saw that his moon was in Pisces, actually there's a bit of a debate. There are places that actually say that could um, he could have a moon in Aries, which I don't think so. I'm going to follow my intuition. For me, he is a moon in Pisces. He's a Gemini with a moon in Pisces. Just because he's so gentle and he's so funny, and I know that that's also a very Gemini trait. But I think that there's something really loving about him. There's something really sweet about him, really really spontaneous, like a very sweet guy, and also very soft. There's something about him that is really reminds me of water element, and also his adaptability, of course. And then if we talk about Kevin is a Pisces sun, and his moon is in Capricorn. So yes, actually, I love Kevin's energy very much. Also, he's really funny. I love the way he talks, his accent. I love the way he pronounces things. I could hear him talk all day in English. Um, and he's so funny. Like, I think that, um, with Pisces, there are like two possible styles of Pisces. Male Pisces, you can have like that very like depressive kind of Pisces, and then you have this kind of party animal kind of Pisces. So I think that I love this Piscean side of Kevin. And also with that moon in Capricorn, that moon in Capricorn also lets me know that despite of him being um a really very joyful and very funny, and very like loving also, Pisces person, he also has the deepness and the seriousness of being a moon in Capricorn. So definitely there's I'm sure there's a side of him that it's actually very serious, very professional, very profound, very consistent in everything that they do. So don't let yourself be fooled by his sparkling attitude, because actually I believe that he is much more serious and grounded than a lot of them. So let's start with Kevin. Just we were talking about him. The archetype cards that came out for him, it's athlete, dilettante, and mystic. So the first card, athlete, it talks about what I was mentioning in a bit prior this, that I was talking about how committed he is, and how professional he is actually about everything that he puts and sets his mind to, or every goal that he wants to obtain for himself. I think that he is very professional and that he is really hardworking. And I think that this athlete talks about that actually when it comes to his body and his stamina and his energy, him actually being a Pisces, sometimes Pisces have this kind of dreamy kind of attitude, or this dreamy vibe to them, that sometimes they look really fragile, especially because they are ruled by emotions. So sometimes they look a bit For example, in the males, they tend to look a bit more like on the feminine side of energy, when you're talking about energy, and they tend to be really soft spoken, really like, and that they don't like to be on the spotlight and stuff. But here with the athlete archetype, I think that what it's telling me is that even though he can look like a very delicate or a very sweet boy, that actually his endurance and his physical abilities are really remarkable, and that possibly he is very competitive by nature, which would also be a very moon in Capricorn trait, to be competitive and to always want to give your best for every situation that shows up. So I think that this athlete here, it means that he's always ready for the challenges, for the hard work. It's like he's not afraid to put the effort. And maybe, I don't know, if we see him like with this very soft attitude, that actually he's not in the interior. He has so much strength and so much stamina inside of him that he can actually get really far, because he has a very strong will. And here also with the dilettante, the archetype of the dilettante is talks about his ability, because Pisces is a mutable sign, so they have the ability to adapt to every situation and probably be really good at absorbing knowledge and at being able to be flexible when it comes to body and mind, and especially when it comes to the mind, not just be rigid or not just be um, taking things too serious. This is where the funny side or the humorous or the hilarious side of them comes out, because it's about not taking things seriously. And I think that when we talk about the dilettante archetype, it means about work, about that. Yes, you can put the effort, you can be consistent, you can show up to class, but at the same time, don't take too serious the subject or the craft that you're learning. Don't get too attached to the tools that you are incorporating in your life. Just be always willing to be able to change things up, to be able to, okay, today you are learning a new thing. Well, tomorrow we are going to relearn a different method or a different way of doing things. The dilettante probably is not someone that is a specialist on a subject in particular, because they do not have that ability to actually have that concentration of being like, okay, I'm going to dedicate my whole career into this aspect. It's like they want to try different things and different kinds of experiences and knowledge and activities. So it would mean that he probably is really good at learning, for example, different languages, different skills, different kinds of expression. If it is artistic, he can be really good at different ways of art, not just singing or dancing or playing an instrument. He can be really good in different kinds of forms of expression. And the last, that is mystic, is definitely talks about his spirituality and the fact that he is very connected to his intuition, and that he could probably be a psychic, or that he probably could have like these kinds of moments where he dreams about things that are about to happen, or he has these kinds of premonitions, or he has this very strong intuition. And also, I think that when we think about the archetype of the mystic, it also means that I don't know if he's religious, but he definitely has a connection with his higher self or with a divinity. It's like he's connected to the universe. That this is very Pisces energy also, to be connected to the universe in a very expansive kind of way that is hard to describe with words, because it's not like, oh yes, I go to church at this place, or I this is my Bible, or this is my ritual, or this is my these are my ancestors that I worship. No, this kind of spirituality comes from a very it's like I wouldn't want to say worldwide, but it means that it's beyond a simple dogma or a simple doctrine or a religion. It's like the mix of all religions, or the mix of all the beliefs, all the different systems of belief. Because I think that he is somehow connected to the universe, and he can get from time to time he can get a bit of a premonition, or he can have those moments of deja vu when he's like, oh, I think I have lived this before, or I think I have a feeling. He will always have like this gut in his stomach that is going to let him know whether something is going to work or not. So he definitely needs to pay attention to that also, because probably with the dilettante, it would be really nice for him to connect with the spiritual side of himself, to keep himself inspired, and to also do an honor to his Pisces energy. So let's go with the tarot cards that Kevin got. He got the Nine of Coins, the Hermit, the Six of Coins, the Seven of Wands, the Page of Swords, the World, the Sun, the Ace of Coins, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Four of Swords. So he's someone that actually he is. I think he feels really good. He has a good self-esteem. There's something about him that reminds me that he's really realistic when it comes to how he has been improving himself, or how he has been learning a lot of things, or overcoming a lot of things. I think that he's really aware of his progress, of everything that he had matured, probably in the last year or two. He had seen like a kind of development in his persona, and he's really amazed by that, and at the same time he's really proud of himself. I think that this is a feeling that sometimes he doesn't share with others. This is why I have the Hermit here, because actually he doesn't want to sound cocky, because he knows that there are people that probably are a bit more sensitive, and probably they are struggling with self-confidence, or being, or with self-esteem, or with self-image, and he doesn't want to sound like, oh yes, I got it all figured out. But actually his point of view, or his reflection when it comes to himself, it's really realistic. I think that he's seeing it in a way of for example, asking himself, how much can did I gain when it comes to experience? Or maybe he had set in the past some kind of goals that he wanted to achieve, and somehow now he's looking back and being like, okay, I achieved them all. So I think there's a bit of really like recognizing his own potential and feeling really grateful about it. But at the same time, I think that he is someone that he doesn't talk actually about how he feels, despite of him being a Pisces and being emotional and being really, uh, being like, it always seems like he's in a good mood. I think that when it comes to his personal process, or his own self, or what really really what he really how he really feels and how he really thinks, I think he's really reserved. I think he's someone that if he's going through a bedtime, probably he will not talk about it, or he will try to hide it, or he will go and be on his own to not disturb the others. And it's not actually that the others do not support him. It's just that it's his choice and it's his election to actually deal with things on his own. I think that there's also here a bit of him being really strict with himself. So sometimes he wants to be there for others, but when it comes to himself, he wants to fix things on his own and without anyone's help. Which I think that he needs to review that, because it would be nice for him to actually be able and allow himself to receive help, and to receive, I don't know, counsel, receive an advice, receive a feedback, because I think that this is very moon in Capricorn also, to him being really like, okay, I'm going to work things on my own, because I have to be responsible, I have to be like responsible about my own issues or my own matters, and I think it would be wiser for him to actually reaching out to others if he feels a bit insecure. So, and here with the 6 of coins and the 7 of wands, yes, I think that he is really hard actually for others to actually know when he's actually needing help, because I think that he just wants to be fair, and I think that he knows that probably there are other members that are going through like a tougher time, or that they have their own insecurities themselves. So he's like, okay, I don't want to cause any more drama here, so I will keep things to myself. I think he does that very often. And also he takes a lot of pride of a lot of things that he resolves on his own. So probably if someone wants to get closer to him to ask him if he needs anything, he would probably be on the defensive, and be like, no, no, I don't need anything, I'm okay, I got everything figured out, so it's not easy for him yet. And then we have the Page of Swords, the World, and the Sun. And I think that he's having a lot of ideas. He wants to change. He wants a cycle in his life to be over, actually, and he cannot wait for, because here I see the sun, but actually this reminds me of the sunny days. I think that this is very literal, that he cannot wait to see like a more like sunny and more like happier kind of environment. I think that they had been working a lot, and probably like they had been in the building or inside of buildings and working long hours without seeing the light of sun, the sunlight. And I think he definitely he wants that. He wants to absorb that energy. He wants to have fun. He wants to go out more. He wants to be in contact with nature. I think he had give everything that he could potentially give when it comes to his profession, and at the same time he wants to go back to nature. He wants to go back to enjoying things and having fun. So, and then with the cards of the Ace of Coins, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Four of Swords, I think that yes, definitely there's going to be a kind of success. There's going to be a recognition. Probably it's going to be like a new comeback for them, or something new they are going to be releasing. So I think that for him it's going to be really exciting, because he will feel like finally luck is starting to move. So I think that he definitely there's something about him that just makes me think that he is that whenever even though he enjoys his free time, when he is with too much free time, he gets a bit paranoid. Like he can get a bit hyperactive, that especially when it comes to his thoughts. Maybe he gets a bit like he tends to overthink too much. It's like he needs to have something to look forward to, like and schedule. Like he needs to have like some kind of planning. He needs to have like activities to do. He's someone that I don't know why, but he needs to be busy, and I don't know why, because I believe that this a bit of a workaholic kind of vibe. I think that he's trying to hide something, because the last card is the Four of Swords, which the Four of Swords is like a stop in the road. It's like this card that talks about silence, about be quiet, be in a quiet place, just rest, just recharge your energies. And I think that it's almost like destiny has to force this on him, because I think that he doesn't like to be without a schedule or without things to do. But I think that even though these activities are going to be really prosperous for him and the group, at the same time he needs to rest. So he needs to connect um, with just taking time off and relax a little bit. I think that he's very nervous. There's something about his nature that he's really nervous. And I think that the busier he is, the busier he can hide that there's something inside of him that is like bothering him. So I don't know what it is, but I don't know why, but I have this feeling of anxiety, like, for example, if I have too much free time, I get a bit restless, I get a bit weird inside. So probably it has to do with that, some kind of anxiety. But this is why it's like the universe is like, no, you need to rest, you need to stop, you need to, like, just give your body a rest. Don't try to be hyperactive all the time. Like, just relax, just connect with yourself. Don't distract yourself from what's really important, because I think that his body and his soul needs to relax. So let's move on to Jacob. Jacob, as I was mentioning, he is a Gemini with a moon in Pisces. And yes, he's just loving. I love him. I love that mutable energy of him. Of course, that, when you have too much mutable energy, that you can be a bit like, you can be like a box full of surprises. You can be like a Pandora box. You never know what you're going to get. So definitely he has like a lot of these distinctive of a lot of different sides to him. So it's like you never know what you're going to get with him. So probably he's really good at shapeshifter, kind of thing, like changing moods all of a sudden and being like really happy and really hyped, and then being really serious and really like sharp, because Gemini has that duality, and Pisces energy also. So even though they can seem so sweet and so funny and so energetic, they have the moments where all of the sudden that energy vanishes, and then you meet someone that it's really scary, actually. So let's go with the cards, the archetype cards that Jacob got. He got the card of the trickster. This is what I was talking about, the hedonist and the rebel. So yes, the trickster is actually what I was saying, that it's his ability to change himself into whatever the situation requires of him. I think that he just does things with his own style and with his own rhythm. I think that he is someone that he is mesmerizing, because he's able to change so abruptly, and to turn into a different character, so that it's very like like mind blowing, because it's like he goes beyond conventions. He's not the kind of person that it's like, oh yes, I'm really serious, I'm really formal, um I behave, I'm like, I'm the perfect, I know etiquettes. He's actually out of the ordinary. He's a very distinctive kind of person, very original, very different, and also very entertaining. It's very entertaining to watch him and actually to try to guess what's going to how he's going to act or what his reaction is going to be next, because he definitely is very entertaining. It's like he keeps you in the edge of your seat because you never know what you're going to get with him. So he's not predictable at all. And with the hedonist here, it means that he's really creative and also that he loves the good stuff in life. He loves to be surrounded by comfort, by luxury, by really beautiful and aesthetic things. So he definitely celebrates, and he wants to be surrounded by a really comfortable environment. And actually, this is not about wealth or about being, I don't know, wearing a luxurious brand or anything. It's more about stopping, like the saying, stop to smell the roses, something like that. I think that it also has to do with the fact of him being so, having this kind of trickster nature of being always constantly changing and constantly like changing his vibe, his mood. So sometimes he needs to slow down, just stop a bit and appreciate what's around him. I think that he definitely it's unpredictable, but at the same time he enjoys simple things in life. I think he's not someone that he is very like pretentious, but definitely there are moments where he needs to slow down because he has a lot of energy. So, and also here with the rebel, then I mean, it's really interesting his energy, because it's like his energy is like all over the place, and then he stops to smell the roses, and then he becomes like this very like, oh, he wants to be in a very like comfortable and beautiful place and just be laying there and just being like enjoying. And then all of a sudden we have the archetype of the rebel. So the archetype of the rebel, it means that he is defiant, or he doesn't like authority, so he tends to be a bit defiant, or in that sense he tends to have these kind of very strong thoughts or opinions that are a bit controversial, because he has this way of thinking that actually each of us, we all deserve respect. So if he sees some kind of unfairness, he would want to do something to change that that situation. He rejects symptoms that actually are very shallow, or for example kinds of systems where he feels like he's betraying his own nature to be something else, or to be something that he considers that is not that it doesn't serve a good or a positive purpose. I think that he worries about justice a lot, and he worries about the future also, and he's very concerned about that every little action that we do, we have like, there's a consequence to everything that we do. So this is why we need to be truthful to our actions and our words, because those things have an impact. So he is also very observant of people that actually maybe that are like true traditional, like too rigid. He just doesn't like that people, because he thinks that in the new world that we are living in today, and that we will continue, hopefully, to be living in, things are starting to change. So he wants people to wake up in that sense. So probably he has like very interesting way of thinking and seeing the reality. So let's go with the tarot cards that he got. He got the Five of Cups, the Queen of Wands, the Two of Swords, the Eight of Wands, the Two of Wands, the Knight of Wands, the Hangman, the Seven of Swords, the Tower, and the Eight of Coins. So I think that there's someone he's definitely missing someone. Probably it's a female, but I think that since it's a queen, it can possibly be like a mother figure. I think he definitely he misses that kind of love, the kind of unconditional love. I think that sometimes he needs to be surrounded by his family to actually. There are moments where he feels like he really needs a hug, or he needs to have them close to him, to be close to them. And sometimes he misses them very much. And he tries to like keep himself busy and to not feel so much, but he sometimes he just wants to get away from everything. But it's because he sometimes feels like he feels a bit lonely. There are moments where he feels like this very deep sadness, and a bit of nostalgia also about things that didn't work out in the past. So probably there's something about the relationship with his mother. There are a lot of things that hasn't been said between them or expressed, that then when he sees himself like missing them, or actually when realized that he is away from them, or that actually that his whole world is about a lot of it's very stressful. Sometimes his work is very demanding physically and mentally. He just wishes he could get away, he could go away. And this has nothing to do with the group or the dynamic of the group. This has to do with all the efforts, the physical and the mentally and the emotional effort that they put in everything that they do. And sometimes he feels that he misses his home, and he feels a bit guilty for not being able to see them more often. Or probably if he does see them, that those moments are too short, or are not as often as he would like it to be. And then here with the Two of Wands, the Knight of Wands, and the Hangman, I see like he's always looking at the past. There's like a lot of there's like an ambiguity inside of him, like a duality. Like sometimes he have moments where he's not satisfied with himself, and he sometimes can come off a bit rude, or he can act a bit reckless and say or do things like with a little bit of anger, and then he can respond to someone like in a very like harsh tone, and then he feels really guilty about it. He feels really guilty about it because he doesn't know. um he just expressed himself like that out of frustration, because I think that he's been under really a lot of stress. I think that all of them, but I think that now that probably this competition and this cycle that they were in, it's over. Now it's starting to be seen more natural, or more like in the present, that they will have these mood swings, this like, yes, like now all of a sudden I'm talking normally at you, and then all of a sudden my whole mood changes. And I think that also here with the Seven of Swords, the Seven of Swords, the Tower, and the Eight of Coins, I think that Sometimes he feels a bit out of place also, or he feels like he cannot relax, or that he has to take care of every little thing that he says because someone can like misinterpreted it. So he feels like he cannot be himself. He feels like there like probably the environment, or probably there are some members that are more like um, that are a bit more unstable, or a bit susceptible, or too sensitive to comments. So it's like when you are around those members, you need to be careful about how you say things. And I think he had in the past a few like differences and disagreements with some members, so he definitely knows who these people are. And he feels a bit like trapped. He feels like he cannot be himself. He cannot uh, uh, he has to restrict himself, because otherwise he feels like it ruins the mood of the whole room, or the whole people that are in that situation, involved in that situation. So, and the last card, it's the Eight of Coins. So, the Eight of Coins also talks about work and dedication. So, I think that he definitely needs to work on himself. He needs to find a way to express himself more, because I think that this feeling of him actually losing patience, and actually being a bit reckless, and being a bit like harsh with some people, actually is affecting like his relationship with people that he really cares about. And I think that this is because he had been going through a lot of stuff, and he hasn't been able to talk about it. So it's like something that is stuck in his heart chakra. So it's like he's frustrated, and at the same time it's a mix of feelings. It's a mix of emotions. It's like feeling sad and feeling angry and feeling unsatisfied and wanting a change and not seeing the results. I think it's frustration. I think he wanted, there's something that he wanted to have it happen, and actually it didn't, so he feels like a failure or something like that. So he needs to work on those on himself, and reflect a lot about, because I see him like being really sensitive, like for example, like being almost like paranoid, like for example, him noticing a certain members and being like, oh yes, if this person is in the room, I cannot talk about what I want, because he is going to say something that is going to change what I want to say, and I don't want to deal with. And that the it's not funny, but the ironic part of this is that this conversation, or this opinion, is happening inside of his head, because outside he probably is just sitting there and smiling at them. Because I think that there's like I said, there's like these two characters inside of him that is very Gemini to be that way, but it feels like there are two different people living inside his body, and one of them wants to take over the other, so I think he definitely needs to have someone to talk to, probably someone that is not from the group, someone that is an outsider, or a friend, a confidant, someone that he can actually open up his heart and talk about it. Because I think that also with him being a moon in Pisces, what happens is that moon in Pisces and water moons in general, they tend to observe the whole energy of everyone in the room. So probably them like spending a lot of time together, probably he's absorbing the frustration of the whole group, and he's not really aware of that. I think that this outburst of sudden emotional like expression I think that it's not only about him. I think it has to do with everyone's feelings, or with everyone's vibes, and he somehow, because he is so emotional, he is absorbing it, and it's like it gets stuck in his energy and in his persona, and he doesn't know how to get rid of this weight, because it's a very heavy energy. So definitely he needs to let it go. He needs to to clean himself, to be able to clean his aura, so he can be a bit more free, and so he can be himself also, and just deal with what's going on with him, and not to take what's going on with the rest of the group, because I think that what he's getting is probably a lot of passive aggressive situations that actually, like I said, these are things that they are not talking or they are not saying to each other's face, but it's like you can sense it. If you are sensitive enough, you can sense it in the room. You can sense the tension in the room, even though nobody's saying anything. So this is all I have for Kevin and Jacob. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you have like some dubbies that would like to watch the video and my interpretation and would like to give me some feedback about the Boyz, I would appreciate it very much. So thank you guys for being here. Bye.